Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Cook. Don't be lazy. So I'm excited for today. I'm going to make empanadas. Most people eat them fried. I'm gonna make them baked. I called my mama yesterday. I said, Mama, give me the recipe for the empanadas. I love my mama's empanadas. So it was just about everybody in my family. We tear those suckers up. So she gave me the recipe. I made my first batch yesterday. I didn't do too bad considering I got to learn how to roll out dough, and I don't know how to do that stuff, but practice makes perfect. Yesterday's batch came out alright. I'm hoping today's batch comes out a little bit better, but let's get to it. For starters, we need to make our dough. This is what I'm using. If you know how to make tortillas another way, use it that way if you want, but this is the way I was taught. This is the way I'm going to stick to it. So according to the instructions, 2 cups of flour, with half a cup of warm water. I'm going to add the water a little slow. I don't know if I should add it slow or not. I'm not an expert at, basically we're trying to like make tortillas, except for the final step of frying it on the comal. But I've said in an earlier video, I don't know how to make tortillas. So if I'm doing something wrong, oh well. My mama gave me instructions over the phone. It's not like I stood in the kitchen watching her, so I'm winging it. So we're gonna get this into a dough ball. Now if you're seeing that your dough is too wet, add a little extra flour. If you're seeing it's too dry, add just a little bit water. A little bit of water goes a long way. Trust me on that. By the way, wash your hands. My hands are washed. I don't know if you're a nose picker, a booty hole picker. Wash your hands. Especially if you're making this for someone else. Last thing you want is for a piece of dingleberry, because you're a booty hole picker, to end up in your empanadas. Alright, so we're gonna knead this for a few minutes. Now I think this amount made approximately 8 empanadas yesterday. How many empanadas will be based upon how big you cut, or how small, how big you roll your bowls. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Alright, so I think I'm done kneading it. Just perfect. It's not too dry, it's not too wet. So I'm going to put it into a ball. I'm going to wrap it in plastic wrap. So we put plastic wrap around the dough so that the dough doesn't dry out while we let it rest. While it's resting, we're going to get started on the frijoles, on the beans. Open up a can of refried beans. Just refried beans, nothing special. We're going to need some manteca, some lard, not to be confused with shortening, vegetable shortening. Lard. This is a big tub of lard. They do sell smaller tubs, but for whatever reason, this is all I could find today. We're gonna need eyeballing it. Of lard. That much of lard. Oh, would help if you turn on the stove about medium high. My hand's a little dirty. Let me rinse that off. Some pepper. And garlic powder. Lard, frijoles, black pepper, garlic powder. Heat it up. Mash it all in together. When the frijoles are cooked, they're just cold because they're come out of a can. But I want a little lard in it. A little extra seasoning with the garlic powder and the pepper. So it's going to take a minute to heat up. As it's heating, I'm just going to keep stirring it, mashing it, and I'll show you what it looks like here in a few minutes. So it's looking like a big ball of paste, kinda. Not a ball, but that's what we're looking for. So this is already cooked, so because, like I said, it's refried beans cooked out of the can. I'm just warming it up and adding a few flavorful items to it. So we don't need to let this sit here for 20 minutes or anything like that on the stove. Just as long as it heats up and turns into this kind of consistency, we're good. We can start working on the tortillas, on the dough part of it. Alright, so I got my rolling pin out, my palote. I'm just going to take a little bit of flour. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this. I'm just going to rub some flour lightly over the palote, over the rolling pin. I'm doing this not because I was told to do it. I'm doing it because to me that's what makes sense to do. At the same time, it's going to give us an opportunity to put down just a little bit of flour. I don't have one of those boards, so make sure your countertop is super clean. And I'm just going to take a little ball from our plastic rolled up dough ball. I'm going to roll this up into a little ball. And then just try to, again, I'm no expert at this. I just started doing this yesterday. My job is to get this kind of circular and thin. And once I'm kind of happy, what I'm going to do, let me get a plate. Now I know I mentioned calling it tortilla earlier. I say tortilla, even though we're not making tortillas. I say tortilla because this is basically the step to make tortillas. You just take this flour tortilla, throw it on a comal, and there you go. That's your tortilla. That's how you make it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of frijoles. I'm going to fold this over and then crimp the end. Oh. Basically, we're just crimping the end to make sure that the frijoles doesn't ooze out. Preheat your oven for about 415, 420. Preheat your oven. Again, I'm no expert at this stuff. I just learned this yesterday. So working with dough is not what I'm good at. And then, let me take a clean fork. Poke a set of holes into your, I'm drawing a blank, into your empanada. I'm going to go ahead and make a bunch more, and I'll show you the next step here after I've finished rolling off all my, keep this wrapped so it doesn't dry out, because it's going to take you a few minutes to take care of. But I'm going to roll out a few more until I run out of dough, or frijoles. But I'm not going to bore you guys with me doing this over and over. So once I roll it up, I'll come back to you guys and show you the next step. Alright, so I made 7 for now in my first batch, and I think I still got enough to make another 3 or 4 out of that 2 cups of flour, half cup of rice, half cup of water, 2 cups of flour. So 3, 6, 7, maybe 5 more, 4 more. So 11 to 12 empanadas is what you're going to get out of it. So I'm going to stick this in the oven about 410, 415 for about 10 minutes or so, give or take. Almost done. So 10 minutes have passed. Turn off the stove. Looking good. They're done. Time to plate up. By the way, guys, I meant to mention earlier. Oh, that's hot. Before you put your empanadas on a flat sheet, oil it down lightly, very lightly, so that the empanadas don't get stuck in the bottom when you're baking them. And we're ready to take a taste test. Very hot, fresh out the oven. Great tasting. By the way, subscribe to my channel. I got plenty more videos coming your way. Until next time, cook, don't be lazy.